So you want to make a lot of financial experts upset, then tell them that you borrowed from your 401k and they are going to lose their minds. I actually think that it is crazy for people to not consider using their 401k because it's your money. You saved it and put it in your 401k. You got the employer's match for it, and it's not like they can take it away. So you have this money at your disposal that you can use, but so many people are afraid to use it. And that's because they've been brainwashed by the financial industry that you should leave your money in your account and never touch it. In this video, I want to talk about how I borrowed from my 401k multiple times, and I would do it again under the right circumstances. First of all, I believe that the financial industry, they promote this fear of taking money out of your 401k. It's because they get paid from assets under management. So the more money that they have in these retirement funds and different accounts and so forth, that's the more money they make because they charge a fee for assets under management. And the more money that they have people contributing and leaving in there and not taking out, the more money they make. So they promote this fear that you should never take money out of your 401k. But it's not for you, it's for them. So why did I decide to borrow from my 401k? So the story goes like this. It was back in the 2012 time frame. And at that time, I owned a rental property. And I only had one rental property, and that was a previous primary residence that when I got married, I moved out and rented that property out. And things have been going well for about 4 years of renting that property out. Thought I made a good decision in doing that, and I was rewarded for it. So I decided to expand my education and double down on rental real estate. And I started reading books. I started listening to podcasts. I was studying city demographics, income. I was looking at economic development that was happening in the cities around me because that's the area that I was going to be looking to buy property in, was my immediate area. So I started reading about being a landlord and studying how do people finance properties and all of this different stuff. And I really went hard for about a year before I actually bought an actual property. I wanted to make sure that I understood what a cash flowing rental property was because I think a lot of times people get mixed up with what an actual cash flowing property is. They think that, hey, if you get a property where the rent matches the mortgage, then you're good to go. I don't believe that. I think you need much more than that to make it a good cash flowing rental. So I got with my agent, who happened to be a property manager and an investor, and we started looking at properties. The first property that I purchased was for $72,000, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. And we're talking about a time when the market was down. So I purchased that property with 20% down, and I got conventional financing for it. And the property was rent ready. So we were able to put a tenant in there and start collecting rent right away with no problem. And as a matter of fact, the same tenant has been in that property since I purchased it, just one tenant. Within 12 months, I was ready to purchase my next property. And this property was brought to me by my property manager and agent. And this property was $90,000. And again, I used conventional financing. I put 20% down and purchased that property. We got it fixed up and rented out and still own that property to this day. So at this point, things are going well by normal standards. I purchased 2 properties. They were operating efficiently and they were cash flowing, so I was doing good. But I knew that I could not continue to purchase properties fast enough by doing the conventional financing and just using my own money out of my pocket. I needed more money because I couldn't save the down payments fast enough to buy in the time frame that I wanted to buy, which was right now at that particular time because the market was still down very much. So I decided to look at my 401k as an option. My 401k had a loan option that would allow me to take a $50,000 loan, and it would be paid back over 5 years. So that was the term. You had to pay it back in 5 years. And the interest rate at the time for that loan was about 4.25%. But keep in mind, I am paying myself back that interest. I'm paying the principal back for the loan into my retirement account. So it's not like I'm paying interest to someone else. In addition, I don't lose the tax deferral. I don't lose the employer match. I'm not really losing anything other than, the opportunity cost of my money not being in that investment fund that I was investing in at the time. So I'm fine with that. That's my only opportunity cost. And the loan repayment amount was the equivalent of an affordable car for most people. So I didn't have any issue making that payment because number one, I had the income at the time to make the payment, but as well, the rental property cash flow was going to pay it back. And I had no problem with the rental property cash flow paying back the loan over the 5 years because I didn't need the income from the rental properties to live off of. So to me, it was a good trade off. So I took the 50K loan from my 401k. And by this time, again, because I had done so much studying and also had purchased two properties and they were working, I was very comfortable that I was going to make this work and I wasn't going to lose anything out of this deal. So with the 50,000 401k loan, what I started doing is pooling that money together with other money that I could pull together. And I started purchasing properties cash. So what I would do is buy the property cash and get it rent ready. And then I would go to the bank and I would refinance into a conventional loan. And by that time, because I fixed the property up, the value was higher, right? So I was able to refinance and pull all of my money back out of the property where I had no money in the property. Now I could take that 50K again, and then I could go look at buying another property and do the same thing. And I repeated that a couple of times. And eventually I learned to buy properties even in a different way, seller financing and all sorts of stuff. I can pretty much buy property in many different ways now. But at that time, that 401k loan was critical to me being able to purchase properties cash because, again, we're talking about a time when the market was very depressed and I could buy properties for, $70, $80, $90,000. And like I said, I completely recognize the fact that I missed the growth, in the stock market that happened during that time that I had taken the 50K loan and was using it to buy rental properties. So again, that was my opportunity cost. But I was fine with that because just take the four properties that I purchased initially, and I've created $700,000 of equity in those properties in just 13 years. And there's no way that 50K would have turned into $700,000 in 13 years. So for me, it made perfect sense, and I do not regret taking that 401k loan. And I would do it again if the opportunity presented itself. And here's the thing that really bothers me with people is that people will work hard, save money, invest it in their 401k, put it into mutual funds with companies that they have not heard of, don't know shit about, don't know anything about the CEO who runs the company, and they call that smart. They won't even bet on themselves. You look at the S&P 500. I guarantee you that 99% of people cannot name 100 companies in the S&P 500. But yet, you put your money into these funds and you trust that the market is just going to take care of itself. And I'm not saying that that's not a strategy. I'm just saying that if you have put your time and energy into something and educated yourself on something, why not bet on yourself? Because you're willing to leave your financial future up to other people when you just blindly, pump money into a mutual fund that, owns a bunch of different stocks. Honestly, who the hell needs 500 different stocks? If you are buying 500 stocks, what you're telling me is that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm just going to buy everything. And I'm not bashing people for it because I do invest in index funds, but I fully acknowledge that I'm only doing so because I don't know what the hell I'm doing when it comes to picking stocks. I really don't understand why so many people are afraid to borrow from their 401k because it's just silly to me and it's just acting on the fears from the financial industry. What I'm talking about in this video is not for everybody. The majority of people, you probably should just leave your money in a 401k and let somebody else take care of your financial future for you. Because if you're not going to put in the work to educate yourself, go through the trials of, proving a concept, making it work, and basically getting to a point that you know that, hey, I can do this because I've been doing it. Not, I just got this hope and this dream and I'm going to try to make something work. So if you are not going to go through the struggle of proofing your concept and making it work, then I do not suggest that you go and take money from your 401k to just go try something that you have no idea whether it's going to work. That is all I have for you in this video. If you took something of value, please like and share. And in the meantime, take care of yourself out here in these social media streets.